Okay, it looks like a tricky problem, and by that I mean, if I were looking at it, I would struggle with it at first, and certainly then I'd start to think to myself, why am I struggling with this? I think it's because of this thing here. And I would try to like see, could I rewrite it in terms of a different variable where it might be more obvious what it is? So I would say, yeah, let's give it a try. And I would probably say, no, I'm not going to do parts first. I'm just going to see if I can rewrite this so it looks like parts are more appropriate or easier for me. So I'm going to say u is equal to r cosine of x. All right? So one thing you do there is it's fine to write that down. And then I could probably write down cosine of u would be equal to x. Now, someone says, why would you have done that? It makes it easier for me to differentiate it. I don't have to remember how to derive arc cosine. So what do you get over here? You'd get minus sine of u du would be equal to dx. And no, I'm not using parts. So what I want to do is I want to rewrite this integral using that substitution. I'll put a little star over here indicating that we're probably going to have to go back and take care of that later. So it's going to be e to the u. That's this part right over here. And then the dx is going to be minus sine u du. All right? Now, certainly, I have some problems here. And the problems I have now is it does look like a parts problem to me. And I can't be using u and v, so I'm going to use a different letter now. So UVW, right? I'll put this over here. So e to the u would be equal to v, and the dw would be sine of u du. Let's see what happens. All right? So you get going backwards there. E to the u du is dv, and this w would be minus cosine of u. All right? So let's see if that's going to be helpful. Again, we're doing this guy over here. And let's write this down. So it's going to be minus, it's going to be, let's see, minus cosine of u, and then it's going to be e to the u. That's a u. And then it's going to be, let's see, minus, gotta be careful here. Let's see, it's going to be minus cosine u, so I'm going to put plus cosine u. And then I got a EU du then. I'm going to put a little thing on that. And again, we just did this, all right? I'm done with this. And I'm starting to look at that and realizing that, they didn't really get any better, but they didn't get worse. And I'm going to really do the same thing twice. All right, let's put this down. And again, I want to point out this is the same thing as minus star e to the u sine u du. I'm going to get rid of something over here, just make it a little bit easier for me. Get rid of this over here. All right, I'm still working on this. And I want to see if I can figure this out. And same thing. I can put this over here. E to the u is v. And e to the u du is dv. And then I'm going to say dw is going to be cosine of u du. That means w is sine of u. Well, it's getting complicated, isn't it? Let's write this over again. So what are we going to get? We're going to get minus cosine of u e to the u plus, I'm doing this now. What are you going to get? you're going to get sine u, e to the u, minus an integration, and that integration is going to be sine of u, e to the u, du. All right? And what does that equal? This guy over here, which is e to the u sine u du. I put a star in this integration too, by the way. All right, I think I can handle it now. And someone says, what do you mean by that? What would I get? I would get 2. I'm taking this and adding it to both sides, by the way. E to the u sine u du. And that would equal minus cosine of u e to the u plus sine u e to the u. And I removed the symbols of integration, so I'm just going to say plus c. Put a little star there. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 now. And what do you get? Well, you get e to the u sine u du is going to be, let's be real careful now, sine u minus cosine u times e to the u over 2 plus some constant divided by 2. All right? So I realize it's really a long road to get here, but we just figured something out. All right? And what do we figure out? We figured out, I want to outline it for you, we figured out this thing here. That's what we just figured out. All right? But I got to go back to the land of u's, and let's put that down. And what was u equal to? U was equal to arc cosine of x. Where's that written down? Right over there. That's the original substitution we did. Let's plug it in, see what we come up with. And we get what? We're going to get the sine of the arc cosine. I'll write this down a little bit more compactly like this. That's a minus 1 there. Minus, well, the cosine's got to undo that, so I'll just put that x over here, over 2, and then it's going to be e to that, cosine minus 1x plus c. All right? I'm just making the constant different now. It's a different one. All right, let's take a look, and I want to point out that we took a long road. We did a lot of different substitutions back and forth on it, and it gets kind of complicated. And again, I want to point out the only thing we did was we just did this thing over here. All right, so I think I can write the answer down now. What's the answer going to be? This guy over here. We went back over to our substitution, and I think we're good to go. And let's write that down. Let's check our key. And I noticed it did something a little bit strange over here. And, I forgot to put the minus sign down. Put this over here. We want the opposite of this. Sorry about that. I guess I should write that down. I forgot that. And there's something else I forgot to do as well. So I'm going to write this over here. And I want to point out, I do want to do this because I noticed they did it too. Let's put this down. We'll call it some angle theta. Theta is equal to the arc cosine of x. What does that mean? This is x, this is 1. This would be 1 minus x squared. All right? What's the sign of that? Let's write that down. Minus, there's a 2 there. And we got to be very careful. E cosine minus 1x plus c. And we're going to get what? We're going to get minus x here. And the sign of that is going to be this. Let's just clean it up a tiny little bit. And what do you get over there? You would get x minus the root of 1 minus x squared over 2. E arc cosine of x. And minus a c plus c, it really doesn't matter. I'll just put down plus c. All right? I probably should have Let me get my eraser out. Probably not included my C in terms of that. I'll put the parentheses elsewhere so you don't get confused. All right? Let's take a look at the key and see if we got it. All right? And again, this is multiplication. I'll put parentheses over here. Let's see if we have it. All right? So e to the arc cosine of x, I got that right there. X minus, I got that part right over there, over 2. I notice they put the C over there. By the way, the C doesn't matter. We don't know what the C is for the problem anyway. All right? But whether it's divided by 2 or not just doesn't matter. All right? It's a tough problem, though. A lot of different paths taking and going backwards was not the easiest thing in the world to do. But we got the answer in the end. Thank you.